The greatest thing about being a Boston Bruins fan right now is that the Toronto Maple Leafs still exist, baby. Every spring, the flowers will be in bloom. The days will get longer. The weather will get warmer. And the Leafs collapse will get funnier and funnier. Another Game 7 failure for Toronto. Again, after blowing a 2-0 series lead and a 2-goal lead in Game 3 where they could have taken a 3-0 series lead. 6-1, the largest margin of victory for a road team in a Game 7 ever, which makes it the most lopsided loss for a home team in a Game 7 ever. Those Toronto Maple Leafs. The last 2 home games of the series, they get outscored by an aggregate of 12-2. I said it after Game 6 when they had a really gutsy win down in Florida. I said, this is what is going to make what they're about to do so much funnier. And they did it again. They did it again. They just pissed all over themselves. From minute 1 to minute 60, they were awful. Awful. And Florida won every puck battle in this Game 7. They destroyed them from minute 1. And once again, the boogeyman for Toronto, Brad Marchand, comes out to play. An empty net goal, 2 assists, 8 points in the series. He's the leading scorer in the series, 37-year-old Brad Marchand, who is now 5-0 against the Leafs in Game 7s. Only Gordie Howe has scored more points against the Toronto Maple Leafs in the playoffs than Brad Marchand. They have lost 8 straight winner-take-all games, the Leafs have. 8! How do you even do that? How is that possible? That is like a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. That's a 1 in 345 chance to do that. To lose 8 straight winner-take-all games. This core, Auston Matthews, Mitch Marner, John Tavares, William Nylander, the core 4, are the biggest group of losers the NHL has ever assembled. Definitely the most talented group of losers this league has ever seen. There's no other thing to call them. They're skilled, they're fun, but they're fucking losers. They're the biggest losers in professional sports right now. And I don't think there's a close second, to be honest with you. The Bills, maybe. And what's sad is there's so much overlap in those fan bases. But they're not even close. This was supposed to be the core that brought the Leafs a championship. And I think if you put them in maybe any other market for any other team, they probably do that. They've probably already done that. But in Toronto, it can't happen. And this is what they used to say about the Red Sox before 2004. The Leafs are doing it now. They don't just lose. They raise it to an art form. Okay, they find new ways to do it. This year, they had it. They had it laid out for them. They got some grit on the defensive side. Matthews became an incredible defensive player at the center position. Mitch Marner finally breaks over the 100 points plateau. Nylander, second in the league in goals. Right? All these guys. Tavares has a bounce back year. Everybody's starting to fill their role. They have the goaltending. And you look at the playoffs, you don't have the big bad boogeymen Bruins waiting in the first round. There goes that excuse. It's wide open for you. And they lose again. Not only that, but now that the Panthers are in the conference finals, thanks to the Leafs, Brad Marchand just needs to play one more playoff game, and the Leafs will have hand-delivered the Bruins two first-round picks this season. It's as bad as the Bruins have been in 20 years. And it's as talented and as good as the Leafs have been in at least 20 years, if not a lot longer. And yet, it's still the Bruins, man. The Bruins are still laughing at the Leafs and collecting first-round picks. It's just, there is no more tortured fan base in the league right now. I don't necessarily feel bad for them. But how do you do, like, we talk about the Celtics being a failure. These guys haven't even gotten to the conference finals, man. Like, you're running out of words to describe the Toronto Maple Leafs. Auston Matthews, 1 goal in the series. Mitch Marner, 0 goals in the series. And these core guys, when it comes to game sevens, oh my goodness. Since 2018, the guys who have been there the whole time, that's Auston Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, and Morgan Riley. In their games, game sevens, since 2018, they're all 0-6. Matthews, 0 goals. Marner, 0 goals. Nylander, 2 goals. Riley, 1 goal. They've combined for 10 points in 6 of those game sevens. That's so brutal, man. That's so terrible. And the Leafs just keep rewriting the history books here. They have now lost with 8 consecutive. They have surpassed the Colorado Avalanche for the longest active streak of most consecutive losses in winner-take-all games. This is what the Leafs are. They're just a bunch of grade A fucking losers. From the top of their head to the tip of their toes, man. Just nothing but losers. It's a loser franchise. There's no other way to say it. They can't run it back. They're probably going to have to fire Shanahan as the GM. They just keep firing people. I don't know if they can win in that city. It's such a fishbowl. They even blew a huge lead in the bubble in 2020 when there were no fans out there. They blew it again in 2021 when there were no fans in Canada. Like they can't do it, man. They can't do it. Oh, it's funny. It really is funny. But I'll say the one drawback if you're the Bruins, and this is something we're going to need to dive more into as the weeks and months go on here as we get closer to free agency. But I was way on the Mitch Marner train in free agency for the Bruins. I know, like we knew going into this postseason, he was not a good postseason player, right? Like that's not news. And you see a guy who's a 100-point player going as a UFA out to market. That very rarely happens. Look at the Mikko Rantanen thing. Look how much shit had to happen for him to not become a UFA. He got traded twice and then signed a 12-year sheet or an 8-year sheet for 12 a year. So this does not happen very often. And the Bruins really need some high-end talent, offensive talent. And it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, well, we missed the playoffs, so let's wait till we actually get there first for that to be a concern for the Bruins. And again, nothing's changed. I shouldn't be saying this, but I watch that series, and I see him get no shots on goal in a 2-game stretch. No goals in the series. I'm like, how can I feel good about this guy? How can I give him $14 million a year? How can I have him be a focal point on this team outside of course, David Pastrnak? Because we do want to win in the playoffs. And by the way, I don't think Pasternak's been bad in the playoffs, but he's had some stretches where he hasn't produced. Last year, in that Toronto series, his coach needed to call him out before Game 7, and then he scores the Game 7 overtime winner. But looking at Marner at this series and all these embarrassing moments he's had in the playoffs against the Bruins, it's really tough for me to sit here and be like, yeah, just give him the $14 million. Let's do this thing. You know, this is rocking a hard place. It's a tough decision for the Bruins brass because he is far and away, not even close, the best free agent on the market. And you know he's a tremendous player in the first 82 games of the season. Like, incredible. Best playmaking winger in the entire league. But we also want more than that. We don't want to be the Leafs. We laugh at the Leafs. The only team that's choked more than the Bruins in the last 10 years in the playoffs is probably the Leafs. You know, it's probably it. And Mitch Marner was a big reason why. It's just going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I just wonder how many of these teams that feel like they're ready to compete in a year or so, like the Bruins, are sitting there and thinking, you know what? Let him go to San Jose instead. Or Anaheim. Although Anaheim might be ready to compete if they get Mitch Marner in the door. You know, it's just that is a huge, huge caveat to whomever signs him. And he's going to get paid. I don't know that it's going to kill his market or anything. But I think everyone's going to look long and hard at those playoff numbers again and look at the impact and him yelling at his teammates there to wake the fuck up. It's like, bro, you need to wake up. Auston Matthews, after the game, saying we got a bunch of passengers on this team. It's like the Tim Robinson meme. We're all trying to find the guy who did this. You're the passenger, bro. You are Iggy Pop. You're the fucking passenger here. You ride and you ride and you ride. And nobody's driving the goddamn thing. Make you the captain because you are the franchise player and you get one goal in a 7-game series. Like, Leafs fans, how do you do this? I don't never condone giving up on your team. I don't want you to ever do that. But how are you not just sick of this shit? Like, trade everybody. Fire everybody. In fact, maybe the most damning thing on Mitch Marner in this series is that Steve Dangle, after Game 5, said, I don't care if Mitch Marner has a negative cap hit if he's giving the Leafs money. I don't want him on the team. Oh, my God. Leafs, do I feel bad for you? Not quite yet, but it is funny. And it's as close as I would feel to, like, a team with a bad owner. Like, they don't have a bad owner, I don't think. I think just everything else is going wrong. But it has to feel that helpless. God, long live the Leafs. I hate the Leafs, but in reality, I love the Leafs. I need them in my life, man. I need them to continue to make the playoffs. I need this. I need the Leafs more than I need any other team in my life because most of being a hockey fan is just endless anxiety and most of the time pure fucking misery. Like, there's no sport that will eat your heart out like hockey. And so to have this team that will constantly eat somebody else's heart out and you get to laugh at it. There's nothing like that. You can't put a price tag on that. The Leafs are completely invaluable in my life. How much they choke. Rent-free, sure. I'll pay rent. I'll pay rent for them to be in my head. It's so much fun. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Are these the biggest chokers in NHL history? And should the Bruins avoid a Mitch Marner signing because of this series? Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know how great Brad Marchand is against the Leafs, man. Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to laugh at the Leafs. If you love laughing at the Leafs, like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Check in on us every weekday live on YouTube, high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcast. Check out the other videos on the channel, catching you up with Boston sports. I'm your host, Cam Stuart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air every day.